If you knew that just three words could unlock unlimited wealth, would you dare to speak them? Tell me. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you to reveal a truth so profound, so absolute, that once understood, it will forever transform the way you see the world and your place within it. There exists within you a power beyond measure, a force so creative, so limitless, that it has shaped every experience of your life. It is not luck, not fate, not external circumstances that have determined your success or failure. It is the power of your own imagination. What if I told you that the life you live now is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner world? That every dollar you possess, every opportunity that has come to you or eluded you, every circumstance that surrounds you, favorable or unfavorable, is a direct reflection of your own consciousness. This is not philosophy. This is law. The world you see is a mirror, reflecting faithfully the assumptions you have impressed upon your subconscious mind. The power of imagination is the power of creation. It is the unseen cause behind everything you call reality. From the greatest architectural wonders to the vast fortunes amassed by men and women throughout history, all have been first conceived in imagination before they took form in the material world. Nothing is made that is not first imagined. Nothing is experienced that is not first assumed to be true. The world bows to your inner vision, conforming to the blueprint you create within. If you would manifest wealth, do not look to external conditions, for they are but shadows of former thoughts. Do not seek fortune outside of yourself, for it is not found there. It is within, waiting only for your recognition and acceptance. The greatest error of man is believing that he must work against the world to bring about change, when in truth the world is but a reflection, an obedient servant to the dominant state of mind he entertains. To know this is to hold the key to unlimited wealth. For money, success, and opportunity are not things to be chased or struggled for. They are drawn to you by the law of consciousness. They are the outer symbols of your inner state. If you believe yourself to be abundant, if you assume wealth to be your natural state, it must appear in your world. This is not wishful thinking. This is a certainty, as certain as the law of gravity, as unchanging as the rising and setting of the sun. Let this truth settle deeply within you. Imagination is the only reality. The thoughts you entertain with feeling and persistence will externalize themselves in your life. If you have lived in lack, it is only because you have unwittingly accepted lack as your state of being. If money has eluded you, it is not because of external forces, but because in some way you have assumed it to be difficult, distant, or unattainable. You have not yet taken possession of it in consciousness, and so it has not yet taken form in your world. But what if, from this moment on, you refuse to accept anything but abundance? What if you were to impress upon your mind the unwavering belief that wealth is yours now, not tomorrow, not someday, but now? What if you closed your eyes and for a moment lived in the feeling of financial freedom? Can you feel it? Can you sense the ease, the security, the boundless joy that comes with knowing that money is no longer a concern? Hold on to that feeling, for it is the seed of your manifestation. There is no need to concern yourself with the means by which your wealth will come. That is not your work. Your only responsibility is to assume the end, to live in the state of already having. Let the details arrange themselves. The subconscious mind knows ways and means far beyond the comprehension of the conscious mind. When you impress upon it the certainty of your abundance, it will orchestrate events, inspire actions, and move the world in such a way that your assumption must become reality. You do not need to toil, to struggle, to fight against circumstances. You need only to assume. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Walk as one who already possesses great wealth. Speak as one who knows its fortune is secured. Think from the place of abundance, not towards it. And as surely as night follows day, the world will shift to reflect your new state of being. Nothing can stand between you and your desire but your own unwillingness to claim it. Wealth is not reserved for the few. It is not something that must be earned through years of hardship. It is a state of mind, and the moment you take possession of it within, the outer world must conform. There is no other possibility, for consciousness is the only reality. So I ask you now, what do you accept as true? Do you see yourself as one who struggles for money? Do you believe wealth to be distant, difficult, out of reach? If so, understand that it is not the world denying you, it is your own assumptions. And just as easily as you have assumed lack, you can assume abundance. Just as easily as you have accepted limitation, you can accept limitless wealth. The shift occurs the moment you decide to become that which you seek. Close your eyes now and declare, I am wealthy. Feel it. Do not merely say the words. Believe them. See yourself in possession of great riches. Walk in the world as one who already has everything he desires. Let this become your dominant assumption and persist in it no matter what the outer world shows you. For the world is not the cause, it is the effect. The cause is within you. The cause is your imagination, and the moment you take control of it, the moment you decide to dwell only in the state of already having, you will see the evidence of your wealth unfold before your eyes. Everything begins in imagination. Everything is sustained by assumption. And everything you seek is already yours, waiting only for you to claim it. The law of assumption is the secret to manifesting wealth. It is not action, not effort, not struggle that brings riches into your life, but the silent and unseen power of your assumption. What you assume to be true will harden into fact. This is the law, absolute and unchanging. It is not subject to chance, nor is it swayed by external circumstances. It operates with mathematical certainty, responding only to the state of consciousness you occupy. The world you see, the life you experience, the wealth you possess or lack, is nothing more than a reflection of your assumptions. Every dollar in your possession, every opportunity that has come to you or passed you by, every financial success or hardship you have ever encountered, has been drawn to you by the beliefs you have accepted as true. You are always manifesting, whether you realize it or not. The only question is, what are you assuming? To assume is to accept as fact that which is not yet visible. It is to walk in the conviction that what you desire is already yours, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. It is not enough to merely wish for wealth or to long for financial freedom. Desire alone changes nothing, but assumption, living in the end, thinking from the wish fulfilled, this is the power that transforms the unseen into the seen, the imagined into the real. The greatest misconception about wealth is that it must be earned through tireless labor, that it comes only to those who chase it with relentless effort. This is an illusion. Money does not respond to work, it responds to consciousness. Some toil for years and remain in lack, while others, with seemingly little effort, attract fortunes beyond measure. The difference is not in what they do, but in what they assume to be true about themselves and about wealth. If you assume that money is hard to come by, that financial freedom is reserved for the fortunate few, then no matter how much effort you exert, your reality will conform to that belief. But if you assume wealth is effortless, if you accept it as a natural and inevitable part of your life, then all the forces of the universe will move to confirm that assumption. The world does not operate independently of you. It is not a separate force acting upon you. It is a mirror reflecting back to you the state of being you persist in. If you wish to see a different reflection, you must change the assumption that casts it. You must dare to believe in your own abundance, not as a possibility, but as a certainty. It is not arrogance to assume wealth. It is not wishful thinking. It is simply the recognition that consciousness is the only reality, and that by dwelling in the state of financial abundance, you summon it into existence. The process is simple, yet few truly grasp its power. Instead, they look to the world for confirmation before they believe, never realizing that it is their belief that brings confirmation. If you were already wealthy, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you walk, talk, and carry yourself? These are not idle questions. They are the very key to manifestation. To assume the state of wealth is to think from it, to act from it, to feel as though it were already so. It is to remove all doubt, to silence the inner voice that questions how or when, and to rest in the unwavering conviction that it is already done. The mistake so many make is to look at their bank accounts, at their circumstances, at the world around them, and assume that these things dictate their financial reality. They do not. They are merely the reflection of past assumptions. To dwell on them is to perpetuate them. The wise do not react to appearances. They do not allow the outer world to dictate what they believe. They assume what they wish to be true, and they persist in that assumption until the world reshapes itself to match their belief. There is no need to know the means by which wealth will come. The mind that assumes the end is not concerned with the steps leading to it. The how is not your concern. The law will take care of that. The only requirement is that you persist in the assumption of already being wealthy, regardless of what the outer world suggests. Circumstances will shift, opportunities will arise, doors will open where none seemed to exist before, but all of this is secondary. The primary cause is always the assumption. Many will say they believe, yet they continue to check for evidence, to question, to allow doubt to creep in. True assumption does not waver. It does not entertain contradiction. It remains steadfast, unwavering, immovable. The world will test you, not because it holds power, but because it is merely reflecting the depth of your conviction. Those who persist, who refuse to let appearances dictate their state of being, will inevitably see their assumptions take form. Wealth is not something outside of you. It is not a possession to be acquired. It is a state of consciousness, and is only by assuming that state that you bring it into experience. There is no limit, no restriction, no condition placed upon it except for the ones you impose upon yourself. The moment you assume yourself to be wealthy, you have already set in motion the forces that will make it so. To assume wealth is to claim it now, to see the world through the eyes of one who already possesses it. It is to act with the certainty that money flows freely and abundantly. It is to cease all thoughts of struggle, to remove from your vocabulary the words of lack and limitation, and to replace them with the language of abundance. It is to walk in the confidence that the universe has no choice but to supply you with all that you require, because you have already assumed it as true. There is no exception to this law. There is no force that can deny the one who assumes. The world may call it luck, coincidence, chance, but those who understand the law know better. They know that wealth is not a matter of external effort, but of internal conviction. They know that assumption is the only cause, and that by dwelling in the state of already having, they call forth into existence the reality they desire. You need not wait. You need not hope. You need only assume. The subconscious mind holds the key to abundance. It is the silent architect of your reality, shaping your world according to the impressions you have placed upon it. It does not question, does not argue, does not reason. It simply accepts and manifests. Whatever is impressed upon it with feeling and conviction will, in time, harden into fact. This is the law. The wealth you possess, the opportunities that come to you, the financial circumstances you experience, all originate from the unseen realm of your subconscious mind. It has been said that man is the sum total of his thoughts, but this is not entirely true. He is not merely what he thinks in passing, but what he believes deep within himself, what he accepts as unshakably true. It is not the fleeting desires or casual wishes that shape his world, but the persistent assumptions buried in his subconscious. These assumptions, once impressed, move without effort, orchestrating events, guiding decisions, and shaping experiences to align with the reality they affirm. Every financial struggle, every hardship, every moment of lack is not the result of external conditions, but of an unseen assumption held within the subconscious mind. Likewise, every moment of prosperity, every windfall, every effortless success is a reflection of deeply held convictions of abundance. The outer world is merely a stage upon which the unseen beliefs of man are played out. If one does not like the scene before him, he need not battle against circumstances, nor strive to change the world through effort alone. He need only revise the beliefs he holds in his subconscious, and the world will conform to the new assumption. The subconscious does not discriminate between rich or poor, success or failure, wealth or lack. It is indifferent, responding only to what is impressed upon it with sufficient feeling and repetition. The one who unknowingly impresses fear, doubt, and scarcity upon his subconscious mind will experience them just as surely as the one who deliberately impresses wealth and financial freedom will find these reflected in his life. The subconscious does not question. It does not filter out what is useful and what is not. It simply accepts and it creates accordingly. To change financial reality, one must learn the art of conscious impression. Every word spoken, every thought entertained, every mental picture vividly imagined contributes to the conditioning of the subconscious mind. Most live their lives unaware of this process, allowing the world to dictate what they believe to be possible, accepting limitations because they see them reflected in their outer world. But the wise understand that the world is not cause, but effect. They know that to change the effect, one must first change the cause. The question is not whether the subconscious mind is creating your financial reality. It always is. The question is whether you are consciously directing it or allowing it to be programmed by fear, doubt, and external appearances. If the subconscious mind accepts all that it is given, then it must be deliberately fed only that which is in harmony with abundance. The words spoken must affirm wealth. The thoughts entertained must reflect financial ease. The mental images must be filled with success, prosperity, and security. To do otherwise is to allow the subconscious to continue producing the same circumstances it has always created. One need not struggle, toil, or force the world to change. This is the great error of mankind, believing that wealth is something to be fought for, that financial freedom comes through endless effort. Yet even those who have achieved wealth through struggle will often lose it, for they have not changed the root assumption that wealth must be earned with difficulty. The subconscious must be conditioned to accept wealth as effortless, as natural, as inevitable. The means by which wealth comes is never the concern of the conscious mind. The how is irrelevant. For the subconscious, once impressed with the assumption of abundance, will take care of the details. It will move people, circumstances, and events in ways beyond comprehension, leading to the fulfillment of what has been assumed. There is no need to scheme, to chase, or to seek confirmation in the outer world. The wise do not look to their bank accounts to determine their wealth. They look within. They assume their fortune exists now, and in time, the world must bear witness to their conviction. To impress the subconscious with the reality of wealth, repetition is key. A single thought, fleeting and unconfirmed, has little power, but a thought that is repeated, a statement that is affirmed daily, an image that is held with unwavering certainty, this will sink deeply into the subconscious, where it will take root and begin to shape the outer world accordingly. The words spoken internally must be chosen with care, for every statement is a command to the subconscious. The one who says, "I cannot afford this," is affirming lack, while the one who says, "I always have more than enough," is impressing wealth upon his subconscious mind. The feeling behind the assumption is just as important as the words themselves. The subconscious does not respond to empty phrases, but to the feeling that accompanies them. One may say the words, I am wealthy 1,000 times. But if they are spoken without belief, without conviction, without the feeling of already being wealthy, they will not take root. But if even once those words are spoken with the deep feeling of their truth, the subconscious will accept them as fact, and the world must reshape itself accordingly. The one who understands this need never concern himself with financial struggle again. He knows that he need only impress upon his subconscious the certainty of his wealth, and the world will reflect it back to him in perfect detail. He knows that wealth is not something to be sought, but something to be assumed. He does not chase money, for he knows that money must come to him, drawn by the irresistible pull of his subconscious conviction. To master the subconscious mind is to master life itself. Every fortune ever amassed, every success ever achieved, has first been secured in the unseen depths of the mind before it has taken form in the world. There is no power outside of this. There is no greater force than this. And there is no limit to what one may create when he understands that the key to all abundance has always been within him. The imagination is the creative power of the universe. It is not a mere faculty of the mind, nor is it a passive instrument of thought. It is the very essence of creation itself, the divine ability within man to shape reality according to his desires. The world you see, the circumstances you experience, the wealth or lack thereof in your life, all of it is but a reflection of the images you have held persistently in your imagination. To imagine a thing is to create it. Whether or not it is immediately seen is of no consequence, for what is imagined with conviction will in time be made visible. This is the law, and there is no exception to it. The mind that dwells upon limitation, upon struggle, upon scarcity, will inevitably see these conditions hardened into fact. For the imagination, once set in motion, does not rest until it has conceived. Likewise, the mind that occupies itself with images of abundance, of financial ease, of effortless prosperity, will soon find these conditions reflected in the outer world. Man has been given the greatest of all gifts, the ability to create through the power of assumption, through the disciplined use of imagination. Yet so few exercise this power deliberately. They imagine by default, allowing the world to impress upon them images of lack, struggle, and limitation, never realizing that the outer world is only responding to the pictures they themselves have projected. The wise understand that reality is shaped from within, not from without. They do not allow circumstances to dictate their imagination, but instead use imagination to dictate their circumstances. The act of imagining is not idle fantasy, nor is it mere daydreaming. It is a spiritual act, a divine operation through which the unseen becomes seen, the formless takes form, and that which is desired is brought forth into tangible existence. Every great achievement, every financial success, every empire of wealth that has ever been built began first as an imagined reality. The one who understands this truth no longer looks to the world for confirmation, but turns inward, knowing that what is held in imagination with feeling and conviction must, by law, become externalized. To manifest wealth, one must first become wealthy in imagination. The world cannot give that which one has not first accepted as true within himself. If one seeks financial freedom, he must first assume himself to already possess it, not as a distant possibility, but as a present reality. He must see himself as wealthy, act as though he is already in possession of great riches, feel the satisfaction of abundance before the evidence appears. This is not deception, nor is it self-delusion. It is the very process by which reality is created. The mind that doubts, that questions, that waits for proof before assuming the state desired will never manifest its wish, for it has placed the outer world as the cause rather than the effect. The wise know that assumption precedes reality. They know that to imagine a thing with unwavering certainty is to summon it into being. They do not ask when or how wealth will come, for these are the concerns of the rational mind. The imagination does not deal in reason, it deals in creation. It does not concern itself with the mechanics of manifestation, for it knows that once the end is assumed, the means will be provided. To practice the deliberate use of imagination, one must learn to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not mere visualization, nor is it idle dreaming. It is the living reality of that which is imagined, the acceptance of the unseen as real. To assume wealth, one must first imagine himself already in possession of great riches. He must enter the scene in imagination, see the world through the eyes of the wealthy, feel the weight of financial ease, hear the words of those who acknowledge his prosperity. He must persist in this assumption until it becomes so real within that the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. The great error of man is to think that wealth is something outside of himself, something that must be attained, pursued, or fought for. Yet, all wealth exists within first, in the unseen reality of imagination, waiting only for the one who will claim it. The one who understands this does not struggle to acquire money, does not chase after financial success, does not toil endlessly in search of opportunity. He simply assumes that he already possesses all that he desires, and the world moves to bring his assumption into tangible reality. There is no limit to what one may create through the disciplined use of imagination. Money, success, opportunity, all of it is shaped and directed by the images held persistently in mind. The one who assumes wealth will find wealth seeking him out. The one who assumes struggle will find struggle appearing at every turn. The imagination does not discriminate. It simply creates according to what is impressed upon it. The act of assuming the wish fulfilled is not a passive exercise, nor is it something to be practiced intermittently. It is a way of, there is no power greater than belief. It is the unseen force that moves mountains, the silent architect that constructs the world of man, the law upon which all manifestation rests. A man does not receive what he wants, he receives what he believes to be true. The outer world is nothing more than the reflection of the convictions held in the unseen realm of mind. To change one's financial reality, to move from lack to abundance, from struggle to ease, is not a matter of effort, but of belief. Every circumstance, every condition of life, every sum of money that flows into or out of one's possession is first accepted in the realm of belief before it is ever seen in the world of form. The one who believes in limitation will find it at every turn, while the one who believes in boundless wealth will see opportunities unfold before him in ways beyond explanation. This is not a matter of chance, nor is it dictated by external forces. It is the law, working with unfailing accuracy, shaping the world according to the inner convictions of man. To believe in wealth is to make it real. The mind that accepts prosperity as inevitable, as natural, as already present, will soon witness it appearing in the outer world. But belief must be absolute, unwavering, without contradiction. A divided mind, one that speaks of wealth but secretly entertains doubts, will see those doubts made manifest. The subconscious mind does not respond to empty words. It responds only to the feeling of certainty, to the unshakable knowing that a thing already is. Many seek financial freedom yet continue to affirm its absence. They look at their bank accounts, their debts, their circumstances, and allow these things to dictate what they believe is possible. But the wise understand that the world is not the source, it is only the effect. They do not allow the outer world to determine their beliefs, rather they command the outer world through their belief. They assume wealth before the evidence appears, knowing that the evidence must follow. They do not say, I will be wealthy one day. They say, I am wealthy now, and they persist in this assumption until the world has no choice but to reflect it. Belief is not a passive state. It is a force, a creative power that moves unseen, reshaping circumstances, guiding actions, and attracting the people, events, and opportunities necessary to bring itself into form. The one who truly believes in his financial success does not wait for signs, does not seek external validation, does not look to the world to confirm his wealth. He carries the conviction within, and because he does, the world must yield to it. Doubt is the great destroyer. The mind that wavers, that questions, that looks for proof before it believes, will remain trapped in the cycle of struggle. For belief precedes evidence, never the other way around. One cannot wait for wealth to appear before believing in wealth, just as one cannot wait for the sun to rise before believing in light. It is belief that causes the wealth to appear. The one who understands this no longer seeks confirmation in the outer world, for he knows that all confirmation is born from within. To build an unshakable belief in wealth, one must first silence the mind of doubt. Every thought that contradicts the assumption of abundance must be dismissed. Every feeling of fear, of uncertainty, of limitation must be replaced with the feeling of absolute certainty. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the law in action. The subconscious mind responds only to what is deeply felt and persistently assumed. And once it has accepted wealth as true, it will move all of creation to bring that wealth into form. There is no external force withholding abundance from man. The only barrier is the belief that it is not yet his. The moment he accepts wealth as his present reality, the moment he moves with the certainty that financial freedom is already his, the world begins to shift. Money flows effortlessly, doors open, opportunities arise, not by chance, not by luck, but by the power of belief manifest. It is not necessary to know how wealth will come. The rational mind, bound by logic and limitation, seeks explanations, strategies, and visible means. But belief transcends all of this. The subconscious mind, once impressed with the conviction of abundance, will orchestrate the details in ways beyond human comprehension. It will inspire ideas, draw forth connections, align events in perfect order, all without conscious effort. The wise do not concern themselves with how, they simply believe, knowing that the how will take care of itself. There is no power outside of belief. Every fortune ever made, every success ever achieved, has first been secured in the unseen realm of conviction before it has appeared in the world of men. The one who understands this holds the key to limitless wealth, for he knows that money is not something to be earned, chased, or struggled for. It is something to be claimed by the simple, unwavering assumption that it is already his. The world will move to accommodate that belief, and it will do so with effortless precision. Money is not separate from you. It is not something outside of yourself that must be pursued, earned, or gathered through force. It is an extension of your consciousness, a reflection of your state of being, a mirror of the assumptions you hold within. If you believe yourself to be abundant, money must flow to you effortlessly, drawn by the magnetic pull of your inner conviction. If you see yourself as lacking, struggling, or waiting for wealth, then that too will be made manifest, for the world can only give you a reflection of what you are. The great mistake is to treat money as something external, something that exists independently of you, something that must be acquired through toil, sacrifice, or luck. The truth is that money is merely energy, responding to the dominant frequency of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your assumptions. It is drawn towards certainty, repelled by doubt, and made invisible by fear. The one who understands this no longer chases wealth, no longer seeks money as though it were lost, no longer believes in lack, for he knows that all things come to him through him. The presence or absence of money in your life is not determined by effort, nor by talent, nor by external circumstances. It is determined solely by the concept you hold of yourself. If you see yourself as struggling financially, as someone who must fight for wealth, as someone who is at the mercy of economic conditions, then no matter how hard you work, no matter how many opportunities arise, your world will conform to that belief. But if you assume yourself to be already wealthy, if you carry the certainty that financial abundance is your natural state, then money must appear, for it is the effect, never the cause. It is not money itself that must change. It is your relationship to it. Money is a servant, never a master. It responds to your command, follows your inner direction, and flows where it is allowed to flow. But the one who fears money, who sees it as difficult to obtain, who feels unworthy of financial abundance, unknowingly builds an invisible wall between himself and the wealth he desires. The moment that wall is removed, the moment one sees money as a natural extension of his being, rather than something to be fought for, it begins to move effortlessly in his direction. The belief that money is scarce is an illusion, one created by the mind that has not yet realized its own creative power. There is no shortage of wealth, no lack of opportunity, no external limitation that can stand in the way of the one who understands that money is simply an expression of his inner state. The one who assumes abundance, who believes in financial ease, who knows himself to be wealthy, will always find money flowing toward him. And the one who sees money as difficult to obtain, who views the world as lacking, who believes in struggle, will always find himself struggling. It is not action that creates wealth, but assumption. The world teaches that one must work harder, that one must compete, that one must sacrifice to attain financial success. But this is the great misunderstanding. Action is merely the result of belief, never the cause. The one who assumes wealth will naturally be led to the right opportunities, will be inspired to take the right steps, will find himself in the right place at the right time, not because he planned it, but because the unseen forces of creation have arranged it so. To change your financial reality, you must first change your identity. You must no longer see yourself as someone who is waiting for money, hoping for wealth, striving to attain financial freedom. You must see yourself as already wealthy, as one for whom money flows with ease, as one who does not question or doubt, but simply expects abundance. You must carry the feeling of wealth, not as a wish, not as a distant possibility, but as a present fact. The mind may argue, the senses may contradict, the world may say otherwise, but if the assumption is held with certainty, the world must rearrange itself to fit that assumption. The mistake many make is looking to the outer world for confirmation before they believe in their wealth. They check their bank accounts, they analyze their income, they measure their progress, and when they do not see immediate results, they allow doubt to creep in. But the wise understand that the outer world is always a step behind the inner world. What is assumed today must be seen tomorrow. What is accepted within must appear without. There is no other way. Money is not your goal. Wealth is not something to be acquired. Your state of being is the true foundation of financial success. The one who assumes abundance, who feels the joy and freedom of financial ease, who carries himself as one who is already prosperous, will find money appearing in his life through channels both expected and unexpected. He will not need to chase it, for it will be drawn to him naturally. He will not need to seek opportunity, for opportunity will seek him. To transform your financial reality, stop looking at money as something separate from yourself. See it as already yours, as something that is a natural extension of your state of mind. Let go of the belief in struggle. Release the idea that wealth is something difficult to attain, and instead assume that it already belongs to you. Once that assumption is truly felt and fully accepted, the world will move, unseen forces will align, and money will appear. Not through effort, not through striving, but through the simple power of knowing that it must be so. The world you see is nothing more than the reflection of your inner state. Every dollar in your possession, every opportunity that comes or does not come, every circumstance surrounding your financial life is but the outpicturing of your assumptions. The truth is simple. Wealth is not something you attain, it is something you accept. You do not need to fight for it, struggle for it, or hope for it. You need only assume the feeling of already possessing it. You must see yourself as wealthy before the world confirms it. You must believe in abundance, even when your senses suggest otherwise. For reality does not shape your belief shapes reality. The power to manifest wealth is not found in external effort, but in the disciplined control of your imagination. Every fortune ever made was first created in the unseen realm of thought before it appeared in form. To assume the feeling of financial freedom now is to summon it into existence. Money does not respond to need, to desperation, or to endless striving. It responds to certainty. The one who knows he is wealthy, who moves with the conviction that abundance is his natural state, who refuses to entertain even the slightest doubt, he is the one to whom money flows effortlessly. The law is infallible. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from the state of already having. Persist in this assumption until it becomes your natural dwelling place, and the world must conform. Wealth is not something outside of you. It is an extension of who you are. Change your concept of self, and the world will change with you.